Hey YouTube, how's it going? This is a follow-up video from the video I did with the intermediate steering linkage that I did a couple days ago. Um, I got a message from somebody who watched my video, Choco Taco. I love that name. Anyways, he said that he did the exact same repair on his vehicle about 8 months ago. He said, but the only problem he had was he forgot to mark those marks on the rack and pinion rod that's coming up, like I showed you in the last video. And because of that, his wheel ended up being crooked. And he asked me if I knew any ways to fix that easily. So I did a little bit of research, and actually there's 3 different ways you can do it. And I'll show you that, okay? Okay, so the first way you could do it is if you actually jack the car back up, pop the front left tire off again, and basically redo the whole job. And then since you did mark it, you're going to have to go ahead and somehow twist and turn it and figure out how it's going to go. Personally, I think that's going to be a waste of time. The other way that you could do it is you could actually jack the car up and go under here, and you'll see the tie rods. I don't know if you can see those or not. And you can actually adjust the tie rods, sort of like doing an alignment. Depending on which way the wheel is crooked, you either turn it toe in, toe out, or whatever, and you just keep twisting it until you get the steering wheel straight with the wheels itself. Now, the third way, and the way that I'm going to show you how to do it, is actually popping the steering wheel off right here and twisting it back on straight, but making sure that the wheels are straight first. Okay, so that's what we're going to go ahead and do today. Alright, be right back. Okay, now to show you exactly what I'm going to do and how easy it can be done, is I'm actually going to copy exactly what he did wrong. So I actually took the time. He sent me a picture of what it looked like. Actually sent me a video of what it looked like. And it basically looked like this. His wheels were completely straight, and his steering wheel looked like this. Okay? So what I did was I took my wheel off and basically copied his exactly the way it was, so that you'll see exactly what I need to do, rather than doing a fresh where it's already straight, and that way you'll be able to see what's going on. Okay, so and that's how easy it is. So I'll get set up, and we'll be right back. Okay, now the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to disconnect all power to the vehicle, basically disconnect the battery. Now the HHR, the vehicle that he has, and mine, the Cobalt, I'm pretty close to the same vehicle. In fact, some of the parts are the same for each vehicle. Some of the layouts the same for each vehicle. So it's basically the same thing. However, what's pretty cool is there's no battery here. On this vehicle and the HHR, the battery is in the back of the trunk, right there. So basically what we want to do is we want to remove this battery so that we have no juice. The first thing we're going to do, though, is going to make sure the keys are out of the ignition. And they are. And we'll go back here and set this up here. Hold on a second here. I don't know if you can see. Maybe. Put that on here. So all you got to do is that up for you. Just remove this here, loosen it off, and sweep it up, and just tuck it somewhere out of the way. Okay, so now you've got no power to the car and everything's safe. You don't have to worry about the airbag accidentally deploying and smashing you in the face. Okay, because what we got to do now is we need to remove this airbag assembly so that we can get to the bolt that holds the steering wheel onto the column. Okay, and taking the airbag assembly off is actually a lot easier than it seems. Okay, so I'll show you that right in a second. Okay, so this has to come off. Now, in order to take it off, on the side of the steering wheel, let's see if you can get a good shot of that. See that hole there? There's a hole there, and then there's a hole right there. Okay. Basically, what you're going to do is you're going to grab a screwdriver, just a small flathead, one that's decently long, so that you can stick it into that hole. Okay, there's no screw, it's just a clip that you're pushing in. Now the trick is you need to put that in there and you got to kind of feel. You're looking for a clip, a little plastic clip, and you just got to kind of feel around until you find it. And once you find that clip, then you realize you've hit the sweet spot. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. Okay, so anyways, we're going to just pop that in there. I'm going to try and do this with one hand. I don't think I can, because I need to pull on the airbag at the same time. So hold on, I'm going to see if I can set this up somewhere. Okay, so basically now what you want to do is, like I said, you want to take your little screwdriver, and here you're going to feel for the clip, and it'll just be right there. And you're just going to push it until you hear a click, and you just pull that side out. Okay, and then on the other side, it's the exact same thing. You just stick it in over here, and you're looking for that clip, that little piece, and just like that, and it pops right out, and your steering wheel is off. Okay, so now then the next thing you want to do is you actually want to remove the wiring that goes to the airbag. Okay, you're safe now because the battery is unhooked, and you're not going to have any issues with the airbag accidentally deploying. Okay, so I'm going to set this like this, and I'll be right back when I get the rest of my tools. Okay, so on the back of the airbag, there's two wires, and they're all clipped in into there. To remove these, you're going to need a pair of needle nose pliers, and you're just going to grab onto this little white clip that's right here, and you're going to just wiggle it out. I'm going to try and do this with one hand. We'll go from the side. That's a little better. Just wiggle. It'll pop off. Just careful not to break any of the tabs that are on there, as it is just a small piece of plastic, so it's off. Okay, so that's the piece there. Put it somewhere where you're not going to lose it. I'll put it in my cup holder there. And then to take off the actual plug, you see these two little tips right there. You're going to want to squeeze those together and just wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And it should pop off. Just like that. Okay? And then you do the exact same thing for the other side. Okay? And as soon as I get that off, I'll come back. Alright, so I have the airbag out now, as you can see. It's right there. It's hard to believe these things are like a few $100 now. To get them reinstalled after they deploy, you're probably looking at about $1,500 to $2,500 to replace an airbag. You can buy them online for like, I don't know, depending on the vehicle, maybe $200. I looked up for this vehicle and it was actually only $189 on eBay for an airbag. The reason it costs so much to have it replaced, because not only are you replacing this, you've also got to replace the sensor that's out by the bumper that caused this to trigger as well. Okay, and that's where a lot of the cost comes from, because they got to do the rewiring and the reset up for the computer. So technically the bag really isn't that expensive. It's just the actual labor of getting the wiring and all that rehooked up in the new sensors, and that's why a lot of times the insurance company just write off the vehicle if the airbag's been deployed. Okay, so next up, what you're going to want to do to take the wheel off, let me put these out of the way here for a second. Alright, there's a bolt right here. It's the center bolt for the steering wheel. You're going to want to remove that bolt, and what will happen, there'll be a washer under there. You don't want to lose that washer. Okay? And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make sure the wheel's straight, and you're going to try and feed it back the best you can so that it's straight. So what you need is you're going to need a 21mm socket, and it should pop right off. So just give me a second while I get that off, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I got the wheel off, put it back on, put that 21mm bolt back on, made sure the washer was underneath of it, made sure it was nice and snug and tight, rehooked up my wires to the airbag to install the airbag back in. All you're doing is taking these little spikes here, or pins, and you really don't have to line it up. They're going to line themselves up on your own. All you do is you pick it up. I can do this with one hand. Turn it around. Oh, sorry. And just line it up with the steering wheel and give it a quick push. And there you go. Yes, I did install the power back, and I probably shouldn't have. Okay, so you can see steering wheel is nice and straight. Wheels are nice and straight. Okay, and basically that's all you have to do. I hope that helps you out, Choco Taco. Have a good day.